Welcome back to part 3 of our however many part series this is going to turn out to be. Also, this turned out to run a bit long, but it's been a while, so you guys deserve it. As per usual, if you've never been here before, this is a general guide on how to execute a particular style of play, fulfilling a role if you would. This is by no means demanding there is a set of rules you must abide when playing. It's simply something to give people a little bit of structure should they want that sort of thing. There's no official list to this madness, so we make up cool names here. This time around we have the Guardian. The Guardian is an interesting role because although it is incredibly safe for the individual, if they do it poorly, it is very, very bad for their teammates. The job is pretty self-explanatory. You're primarily playing protection detail. Think of yourself as a sentient turret system, one actually capable of not strafing your teammates every 5 seconds because you have the ability to stop shooting when you turn. As far as you're concerned, the best defense should be a frighteningly effective offense. You must become the all-seeing eye, the shield wall, a bastion of defense, a barrier of safety and reassurance for your team. You will be acting as the world's most benevolent, yet heartless killing machine. Sorry, my nose just started pouring blood like the Bellagio fountain at the end of that last sentence, so if I sound a little perturbed, that would be why. You are a scalpel, not only in your ability to rend flesh with surgical precision, but your ability to mend it as well. The only beings granted your mercy on the battlefield are your gracious teammates. I consider this to be a position for the slightly more seasoned divers due to how observant you must be. The Guardian focuses on surroundings as a whole, not any specific type of enemy spanning from light to heavy. They determine what poses the largest threat every moment, regardless of size, and focus on removing them above all else. Not only are they focused on the well-being of the team in regards to keeping them not getting shot at, but they must also be attentive in keeping them able to shoot back. Okay, I found a coffee cup I can spit my blood in for the time being, so we're all fine and dandy. I'm not happy, but I'm just not as pissed as I was 30 seconds ago. So, you must be just as good at supporting your team as you are at defending them. Always make sure people are full on supplies and munitions. I prefer asking what folks need because you don't want to waste a resupply pack on someone who either didn't need it or had a plan to replenish on their own. If you've got no idea and these people aren't talking to you, look at the one with red stims or ammo markers under their titles in the bottom left corner. Guardians also keep an eye and show some favoritism to the less experienced members of the group. The more advanced ones can be trusted to handle themselves, more often than not at least. If you come across a Skull Admiral who doesn't know whether to shit or wind their watch, I'm sorry, not every circumstance is absolute. To get a little more granular in detail, you will most often place yourself towards the back of the team. I'll give you an example as to why we do this. Let's say your point man is going batshit with the flamethrower in front, and he needs to focus on enemies directly in front of him without wasting time and ammunition spinning around to cover what's moving in on his sides. That's where you come in. You will be containing and eliminating all threats outside of their narrow focus so they can do their job the best way possible. Also, I want you to take that behavior and not just apply it to the guy in front. You will apply that to everyone across your team. Current priority targets for bugs are going to be hunters, shriekers, and bile spewers. You may also find yourself helping the enforcer remove heavies from time to time. This is not simply due to my unfathomable hatred for those specific bugs, but also because of how much of a threat and annoyance they will pose to your team. Funny, wonder why I hate them so much. Hunters will jump in and interrupt your team's efforts. Shriekers are going to do the same exact thing at a higher altitude. Spewers are going to waste the time of your team because they're just too damn big and laborious to kill. Priority targets for bots are going to include rocket grunts, berserkers, plus both rocket and laser devastators. Rocket grunts are incredibly disruptive if they hit that one lucky shot, Berserkers are just brick shithouses that could always use a few more bullets in them, and if the Devastators don't kill people when they get their shots off, they are at the least going to stagger them to oblivion. Devastators go first. Focus on them if you have to pick, but the rest are important as well. If there's any Hulk you can kill conveniently, take him out immediately, but the Enforcer types can usually cover that. I suggest formulating your own mental priority list as additional enemies are added, because these things aren't exactly amendable in accordance to updates. One last thing. I kept saying priority targets there, not sole focuses. You're cleared to fire on each and every target, as you should. Simply take those listed out first if you have the option. Here's where things get a little more complicated. I know, it's what you've always hoped for in your heart of hearts. You are a caretaker just as much as you are a ruthless killer. A non-negotiable for helping your teammates is a resupply backpack. It's the most tangible way to support people. If you aren't putting one and one together, this means your options for a support weapon are narrowed to those without backpacks. If you're a regular, you know I stand by an overcharged railgun on any day regardless of circumstance or enemy variant, but this is really amplified right now. They are super good for this particular class. Short reason being, it's armor piercing. If you can put the shots in the right places, it can take care of any problem quickly with one bullet. If that isn't your style, that's fine, I've got some alternatives. Assume for all kinds of enemy you are using resupply packs. So that's one slot already full out of the window. You got 3 left on a good day. Against bugs, your weapons should fulfill a handful of requirements. You need to pierce medium armor, maintain a degree of accuracy to not strafe your teammates, and have something to quickly handle the more mobile targets. Weapon selection varies depending on how you want to allocate your armor breaking and mobility crippling. You will want to try to balance these tasks between your firearms. For example, if you have a stalwart to clear hunters and shriekers, you want a slugger to quickly punch through spewers. Make sense? Or, if you have armor piercing covered with an AMR, you would probably want something automatic like a sickle to chew through the little ones. You aren't the main character, I'm sorry to say. You're more similar to an aperitif. You're there making sure everything goes smoothly. As far as your other stratagems goes, for once, through and through, I'm favoring orbitals. Orbital lasers and rail strikes are my go-tos. They hit hard and are significantly less likely to kill a teammate in the process. Are they the best? Probably not, but we're really focused on not murdering our friends here. Laser for an overwhelmed team, and rail strike in case you need to encroach on Enforcer territory and kill a heavy. Leave the Bile Titans for them though. They love it. Sorry if I sounded a little haggard towards the end of that. I was choking on my own blood. My apologies. And now that that's finally done, we can start talking bots. Chief priority is take out Devastators like we mentioned before. It is the best thing you can do to protect your team. The less Gatling lasers and rocket barrages flying overhead, the less you need to pull them up back to their feet. The railgun is absolutely the best for this, but it can be inaccessible for some folks. You will have a resupply pack, which means no autocannon, but you can use its little brother, the grenade launcher. The HMG is also doable, but the drawbacks are a bit much as of right now. With bugs, you could take your foot off the gas and use light weaponry to kinda spray and pray. That's not so much the case here. You are no longer doing accuracy by volume. Instead, you are tasked with mass casualty via laser-like precision. No other way to say it, folks. You need to be really good at shooting things in the head. Stratagem-wise, I'm gonna tip my hat to the orbital laser again, but I'll choose an Eagle payload capable of destroying buildings instead of rail strikes. You get multiple uses, and you can still take out tanks or tactical objectives with them. Pair it with impact grenades so you have a little get-out-of-jail-free card, and you're good to go. You will notice I didn't mention lightning weapons at all through this. You are providing cover, standing behind your teammates. If an enemy gets between you and them, all of a sudden you don't have someone to support. You can see why I've been a little hesitant to mention them now. It's mostly just a series of happy accidents, but these were released in a fortunate order. The reason being that you employ what you learned by playing the previous way in the subsequent video. In other words, I tricked you into learning and improving your skill set. Sorry about that. Having been in the shoes of both Enforcer and Exterminator, you will have the knowledge required to service them when they need assistance. In addition, you do now know what not to do around them, which keeps both of you from getting ventilated by each other. I also wanted you to fire guns for a while, not just so you could get used to what you do and don't like, but so you're smart enough not to accidentally strafe someone. Now, I say accidentally because some of you jackholes are doing it on purpose. Now, back to the topic of teammates, you gotta be in tune with yours. Keep any lines of communication open that you possibly can. Our community is our greatest asset. We might as well use it and try to make it better. I'll level with you as we're closing out here. Even though I'm relating what I believe to be tried and true methods of playing, it feels a bit odd. These are general instructions to help you reach your end goal, which is complete the mission with everyone alive. However, I try to keep it relaxed and laid back, at least as much as I can, because despite the mission being important, I find enjoying yourself is far more fulfilling and meaningful. These explanations can often feel broad, and that is purposeful. I don't want to give you a rigid structure. I would like to allow you to put your own spin on things. Keeping the rules a bit open and vague also makes them less perishable as updates come and go. All I can say is these methods have a high degree of success for me, but someone else might watch, and their take on it could be even better. I love to facilitate that kind of creative growth as much as I can, even if it means a little guesswork here and there. I think I've talked everyone's ear off more than enough now, but I left you guys hanging for a while, so I felt I owed you some conversation. Sorry about the wait. We should be back to normal posting once this video drops. Thank you for spending your time with me. I hope you found some useful information. If not, I apologize. Take care of yourselves out there and have a good night.